Hey, Heather.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Okay. So I think we have people confirmed for all of the food councils, but we can go ahead and get started as others trickle in. So welcome to the first local food council collaborative communication and coordination committee meeting. We just have some introductions today. So I'm going to turn it over in a second to Heather Bruskin and Michelle Caruso to say quick hello. Then we were planning to have members of local food councils introduce themselves, and then just kind of set the tone for future local food council roundtables. That sounds good to everybody. We can get started. Heather, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Thanks so much. It is great to be with everyone this morning. I'm Heather Bruskin. In my day job, I am the director of the Montgomery County Government's Office of Food Systems Resilience, but I am a giant champion of the importance of food councils in shaping policy and investments in our local food systems. And so I'm really glad for the opportunity to get to be a part of this collaborative. And I co-chair the Communications and Coordination Subcommittee of the State Food Council. So have the opportunity to be active in that space as well. But thank you all so much, both for being here today, as well as for all of the leadership that you provide in your communities. I know the goal here is to both give local food councils the opportunity to connect, to share and showcase what the work that you're doing and what's working well, and also, gather best practices and commiserate around shared challenges and strategies to address them in a safe and cooperative space. So hopefully that this is going to be a valuable continuation of the work that's already been happening around connecting local food system practitioners. So thanks again for everything that you do, and I'm really glad to be here with you. And I'll turn it over to Michelle.
Thanks, Heather. Hi, everyone. First of all, I don't know how my internet is going to be. I'm right outside Blue Ridge Community College near Stanton, Virginia, at the Virginia Farm to Table Conference, which is a really adorable conference if folks have the chance to attend. So apologies in advance if I cut out. So far, do I sound okay? Okay. Just a couple things. I'm really excited that the collaborative is transitioning to the Food System Resiliency Council in the interest of sustainability. So a lot of us, got started or got to know each other through the USDA grant, which is in the process of being wrapped up. But now, we have this opportunity to continue to collaborate under an existing statewide group to, do all of the things that Heather more eloquently said. Then I won't try to repeat. But just a quick note that if you are a funded food council through that USDA partnership, and you have not already requested the final payment, the final 25% reimbursement payment, feel free to do so. And if you have questions about how to do that, feel free to reach out to me, but it's the same process as has been used in the past. So, I will be checking to make sure that those payments go out if they have not already. But, if you have not billed us for that payment, please do so, because we want to support you and get the money out the door. So I will pause there and turn it back over to Annika, I think.
Great. Thank you so much, Michelle. And I realize that I neglected to introduce myself completely. I am Annika Lefebvre. I'm the Food Systems Resilience Coordinator with the Maryland Department of Emergency Management, and I work as the staff person for the Maryland Food System Resiliency Council. We're just going to give some quick announcements and then transition over to introductions. So you all probably get many emails from me, by now. The Food is Medicine Lunch and Learn panel discussion is on Monday at December 9th from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. We hope that everyone can make it. It's accessible on the council's website and open to the public. So we would love for lots of people to attend, and please feel free to share that with your networks. The council's subcommittees are on hiatus for the on January 23rd. Again, those are available on the council's website if you want to attend. And then this committee, the Communication and Coordination Committee, typically meets January through April during the Maryland General Assembly session. They have weekly legislative tracking discussions on Mondays, 1 to 2 p.m. Those are open for anyone to attend, and we would love for more local food councils to participate and share your thoughts on those discussions. So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions about either of those opportunities, and otherwise we hope to see you there. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to you all and ask you to share a little bit about yourselves. I have this kind of funny rudimentary map that I wanted to share with you really fast. So we were originally planning to talk about the Local Health Improvement Coalition food security work groups. Allie McStudy is on this call right now, but we're going to have her come talk to the State Food Council about this next calendar year after they get more established. But one thing that I'm excited about is that we have 18 of 24 local jurisdictions in Maryland represented across all of these work groups. And so I'm excited to help bridge more connections across the state at the local level. Okay, so I'm just going to run down the list, but we would love it if you could share your name, say which food council organization you're from, and maybe share a little bit about your organization structure, whether you're volunteer-based, whether you're with government, and any hopes or goals you have for participating in these semi-regular roundtable discussions with other local food councils. The first one I have on my list is the caller, the phone number ending in 66. I don't know who that is. I don't know if you can talk, but we can move on. Allie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, Annika, I was just going to suggest, I know when I joined, everyone was automatically muted. And if they're on the phone, they might need instructions on how to unmute. And I'm not a Google Meet expert. So I will defer to you on that, but just kind of flagging that might be the issue.
Interestingly, the caller is the one person who is not muted. So, okay, or at least not on our end. Allie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Allie McStudy. I am the Community Prevention Team Manager at the Maryland Department of Health Center for Chronic Disease Prevention and Control. We had a grant through the CDC and the National Association for Chronic Disease Directors a couple years ago that we did not get follow-on funding, but as there is such a connection between nutrition and chronic disease prevention and control, we really wanted to keep up the initiatives. So we are in the process of developing grant guidance for those previously funded counties to be able to continue their efforts that were made. So like Annika said, I will be presenting next year after we really get this off the ground. I have some hopefully good information to talk to you guys about, but thank you for letting me join.
Thank you. Ann Palmer?
Hi, everybody. My name is Ann Palmer, and I'm at the Johns Hopkins Center for a Livable Future. And myself and my colleague Karen Bassarab work on a project called Food Policy Networks, where we do work at the national level with food policy councils and similar entities. They go by a bunch of different names, really, to build capacity to work on policy issues, organizational issues, etc. So we consider us a resource. I'm really happy to be here. And I did send an email to Annika a couple of days ago about a listening session we're hosting about our project. So I'd love to give people's feedback if there's an opportunity to join. And we will be announcing on the listserv as well. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anne, and I will send that out to everyone as well. Beth Brewster.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Beth Brewster. I'm with the Caroline County Public Schools Food Service. I'm the director. We have Caroline County Food Access Group, also part of Eastern Shore group as well. So we have a bunch of cool things going on that I guess I'll talk about later, right? So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Brielle.
Hi, folks. My name's Brielle Pinzini, pronoun she, her. I'm an anti-hunger program assistant working with Maryland Hunger Solutions. I was actually passed along this invite from JD Robinson, who couldn't be here today, but thank you for letting me join as well. Our organization, some of y'all we might have worked with in the past, but we're a nonprofit, nonpartisan structure focused on the health and well-being of all Marylanders. So my specific role focuses on SNAP outreach, but our whole organization supports food access and federal nutrition programs. So yeah, I think the hopes and goals for participation in the local food council roundtable would primarily be support and just bolstering where we can add our expertise and whatnot. But thank you.
Thank you. Catherine.
Hi there, my name is Catherine Nardi. I'm a program manager in the Montgomery County Office of Food Systems Resilience. Although we're not a local food council, we do work closely with the Montgomery County Food Councils and others throughout the state. I think Heather is obviously very involved in this group, so that will probably be our role in involvement. But I certainly am interested in listening in the local food council roundtable and learning from best practices or approaches happening throughout the state that we can strengthen, collaborate on, and learn from.
Thank you. Dr. Range.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Camille Range. I'm the director for the Prince George's Food Equity Council. As far as our structure, it's actually based in we have a fiscal sponsorship with the Institute for Public Health Innovation, which is a nonprofit. And so ultimately the Food Council is a nonprofit structure, not housed in the local government. As far as goals for the participation, definitely want to be here to learn from the lessons of other food policy councils. Definitely don't believe in reinventing the wheel. So I love sharing and hearing best practices. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you so much. Diana.
Good morning, everyone. I get so excited when we gather as a entity to talk about food insecurity. But anyway, my name is Diana Taylor. I chair the Food Council here in Anne Arundel County. I also chair the distribution and access on the state level. I work for an organization called the Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families, which may be most likely known as the local management boards. We are quasi-county, we're not county. Our food council was put into executive order. So it is a mandate by the county exec. And my hopes and goals for our participation here as a state at the state level, that we really address food insecurity, and that I can find ways to break down barriers, that everyone will have access to healthy quality food. Here in the state of Maryland, that is not the case. And I feel strongly that we really have to start addressing those inequities.
Thank you, Diana. Elizabeth Simpson, do you want to say hello? We can come back to you if you want. Emily Bauer.
Good morning, everyone. I apologize. I'm not on camera and having some connectivity issues, so hopefully you can hear me. My name is Emily Bauer. I am the Senior Director for the Office of Nutrition Assistance Programs with the Department of Human Services. I believe I serve as the co-vice chair for the Food System Resiliency Council. Yep. On basically representing Department of Human Services. Under my portfolio, I oversee for the state of Maryland, for Department of Human Services, majority of our SNAP programs. I oversee SNAP education, SNAP outreach, SNAP employment and training, our most recent Sunbucks program, which is our summer SNAP program. I also oversee special programs and legislative grants specific to food pantries and basically any type of, I guess, food or SNAP programs that revolve around food security. I also oversee Restaurant Meals Program, the TFAP program, and the Maryland programs that are MEFAP and SNAPE. So I have a lot under my umbrella, but I am also, I believe I try to participate in as many of the distribution and access meetings, as well as the communication and coordination meetings through the FSRC. And so I think it's just a great opportunity to kind of get everyone together and have partnerships across the state. So good morning.
Good morning. Jack?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jack Ewert. I work under Michelle at the Montgomery County Food Council. So similar answers to Michelle. We're a nonprofit organization. I also work closely with Heather and Catherine. Here today more just to listen in and learn about the work of other food councils, and just wasn't sure Michelle would be made it because I knew she'd be at her conference. I want to be able to listen in case she drops off for whatever reason. So good morning and happy to be here.
Thank you. Leslie?
Good morning, everyone. Hi, my name is Leslie Sessom Parks, and I am with the Maryland State Department of Education, obviously a government agency. I am also with that at MSDE. I am in the Office of School and Community Nutrition Programs. My title is Chief of Professional Development and Performance. However, in addition to overseeing training, I oversee several other areas. Number one is farm to school. And additionally, I am responsible for doing the fiscal estimates and the state agency explanations, or basically review of legislation that has anything to do with nutrition in schools. Among other things. So I am here today to learn more about the work of the food councils, to network and engage with others who are in this work, and to promote and advocate for more local foods in school meals.
Thank you, Leslie. And Lisa Orr is not able to join by audio, but I did want to highlight that she is with the Frederick County Food Council and also serves on the State Food Council representing the Frederick County Food Council. So good morning, Lisa. Mark, we're just going around and introducing ourselves, if I can put you on the spot.
Sure. My name is Mark Powell. I'm Chief of Agriculture and Seafood Marketing at the Maryland Department of Agriculture, and serve on the Food Policy Council.
Thanks, Mark. Michelle Walker.
Hi, I'm Michelle Walker. I am the director of County United Way. We serve Allegheny and Garrett counties. Recently attended a food conference, and basically attending this so that I can become more educated and learn and see how United Way can help Allegheny and Garrett County with food insecurities.
Wonderful. Welcome, Michelle. Nancy?
Good morning. I'm Nancy Nunn. I'm the co-chair of the Maryland Food Resiliency Council, and I'm also engaged with trying to structure food councils in Kent and Cecil and Queen Anne's County. And I work for the Hughes Center for Agroecology, which is a nonprofit affiliated with the University of Maryland's College of Agriculture.
Thanks, Nancy. Stacy.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Stacy Kabovsik. I'm the Assistant Director at Marbidco. Marbidco is a quasi-state entity. We act as sort of the economic development finance entity for agriculture, seafood and forestry businesses. And I'm filling in today for our Executive Director, Steve McHenry. I'm keeping my camera off because I've been under the weather the last couple days and still not quite recovered.
Thank you so much, Stacy, and I hope you feel better. Teresa?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Teresa Stahl, and I am the Vice Chair of the Western Maryland Food Council, and we are under a nonprofit that was just formed in the past year called the Appalachian Farm and Food Alliance. That was formed with a grant from the Garrett County Health Department. Our food council covers Washington, Allegheny, and Garrett counties. And my hopes and goals for participating is just to learn, to grow, and to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Teresa. I think that was everybody. So really what we wanted to do in this meeting is set the stage for future Food Council collaborative meetings and really learn more about what you're interested in talking about in these meetings and any other goals you would like to accomplish. I'm curious, do people want to change the name or keep the Maryland Local Food Council Collaborative as it has been? Keep it? Okay, we got a thumbs up from.
Yeah, keep it.
Yeah, I think
Excellent.
it's good.
We're keeping it. Okay, so some of you may remember that I asked you to fill out a survey, which is how we landed on this time to meet. But I also asked in that survey what you would like to accomplish in these meetings. And here are the responses in terms of like most requested to least. From what I gathered from the survey, and I heard back from all 10 local food councils, people would like to get updates on local and state level food resilience news. They'd like to have opportunities for inter-council collaboration on grants and projects, information and resource sharing between local food councils, roundtable updates and discussions with local food councils, peer-to-peer support and networking, and less popular word topic-specific workshops for capacity building and local level needs assessments and updates. And so I would like to open the floor and ask if there are other things that we didn't cover in this list of objectives or meeting topics that you would like to address or connect with other local food councils about.
Annika, I think it would also be good if we talk about shortages that may be foreseen, like those things that are going on now with the hurricane, just so as councils, we can be prepared to let the residents of wherever it is we may live to know about that information.
So staying up to date on like general food resilience news and tracking that kind of information. Is that what you mean, Diana?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. What else? Or maybe if we could hear from some of the newer food councils, like those on the Eastern Shore, if there are things that you're interested in hearing from other councils.
So I know Beth's on the phone. But Beth, I don't consider you a newer food council because you guys are so organized. And we actually have been to visit Caroline County to see how they do things. But I think what could be helpful, as at least from our perspective with some of the newer councils, is learning from people about who's in the room. I thought it was really interesting that Michelle Walker, I think that was your name, Michelle, that brought up that she, was from United Way in Garrett County and was interested in how do we engage partners that we might not otherwise think of, and how other counties have done that.
And one thing that I will add that I think could potentially be a focus of this group is, from my perspective, one of the most valuable things about food councils is the ability to connect the expertise and the perspective of residents and community to the work of government, and make sure that policymaking and legislative activities are rooted in on the ground experience of both people and organizations. And so that's something, for example, that the Communications and Coordination Subcommittee of the FSRC really focuses on, is both making sure that there's transparency and awareness of the various policy-related things that are happening in Annapolis, but also making sure that we are drawing from the insight of all of our partners around the state to inform how that legislation is both developed, passed, and then implemented. And so I just both want to highlight that our committee offers that opportunity to learn more and follow about what's happening in the Maryland General Assembly every year. But I'd also love to know or hear from this group on what your engagement is currently with state or local level advocacy, what resources you might need, or what are ways that you think that you might be able to connect the perspective of constituents in your part of Maryland to state level work that's happening.
Thanks, Heather. Anyone else have something to add?
I think it's also important for us to know what's going on in different counties. Like when I see Heather and everything that's going on in Montgomery County, I just don't know what to say, because they got so much going on surrounding food insecurity. And just sometimes I think it's important for others in other parts of the state to know those things. So it might be possible for us to begin to advocate for our counties to get on board and be able to do some of the great things that Montgomery County, and I know Montgomery County is not the only one, but it just stands out to me.
I was going to allude to that, Diana, that I think we're all working to solve food system problems. So like, which problems are we each trying to solve, and how's it going? That's, I think, would be interesting to learn, but I think that's reflected in this list here.
Anne?
I think what's nice about having a group like this, and I'll say there's a number of states around the country that connect food councils in their state, and they have various roles. It can be like just organizing them to kind of do these kind of policy briefings, to work on state level policy, to kind of cross-pollinate what's happening at the local level. There's kind of a nice, what would I say, like peer pressure thing that happens if one county's passing something and working on it, that, hey, this is just down the street from us. And then the other thing that they do is this sort of like more directed policy agenda, where there's policies that can be weighed in on at the state level. So it's like looking at that local level. And we've used a lot of the work around that's happening in Maryland as, great examples for other councils around the country. So, don't hesitate to ask if you're working on something, like, who's already done this. So if someone hasn't done it in the state of Maryland, there's certainly, councils around the country that have worked on almost any issue you can imagine. So happy to kind of plug in as that would be useful.
And as you were talking, I remember when I'm going to put on a different hat as the chair of the distribution and access. That was one of the main reasons why we felt that every jurisdiction should have a food council, because every jurisdiction in the state of Maryland is different. And the only way that we could really know from a state level what was going on and advocate and bring it together and see some similarities is to have individual food councils. So I think not only this meeting is going to be good to also be able to bring it up to distribution or access, and then are any of the other committees that it may fit in, and then we can also begin to talk about recommendations and policy.
I just wanted to quickly build on what Diana said again. I know I did that last time I spoke. So thanks for your great ideas, Diana. But as I've been here in Virginia at this Farm to Table conference, which again, if folks have a chance, great little conference. I'm learning more about the need in Virginia to tie food systems to emergency management more explicitly. And I just think it's so great that we are tied into emergency management, because there are a lot of angles to take this work, but emergency management uniquely bridges a lot of them naturally. And so I think it's just great to make that, just to continue making that explicit and trying to align value to the work that we're all doing, because I think we can utilize different value systems, ag, health, there's a lot of different ones, but the fact that we also have emergency management here, I think is something to continue to highlight, and how preparing for and being resilient to emergencies and then being able to react better when emergencies happen in the food system is a great angle for this continued work, even in blue sky times, which I've learned is an emergency management saying. So we all learn new things.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, Michelle. And yes, I think with the Maryland Office of Resilience, having this connection with the local food councils is really important. I think emergency managers view themselves as like coordinators, and they can help connect the dots between their networks and resources. And so I know that we don't have a state resilience strategy right now in place, but that's something that our office is working towards and will be building in 2025. And so talking about food system resilience and highlighting the important work that's being done at the local level is really important to MDEM. Anyone else want to share anything or suggest anything for future meetings? Yeah, thank you, Anne. I've also looked to make sure that that is true. I have not found any other states that house food systems work in emergency management. Although DC HCMA did do their food system resilience study.
I just want to add one other thing. I think I've been sitting here trying to debate whether I should say it or not. But as we move into our climate change, of the change of helmets, I think it would be important to discuss how it's going to affect our food system and keep people updated on the changes, the good, bad, or the indifference that may be coming down the pike.
Nancy?
So Diana, I can sort of speak to that more broadly than specifically for the food system, but the Hughes Center, they presented earlier this year because we are in the process of finalizing a 2-year report that looked at agriculture and climate change's impact on it in Maryland. And that report will be released in early 2025, but there will be a series of recommendations that I think will be of interest to this committee and to actually the Food Resiliency Committee, because there's impacts on crops that may have to change, or how to mitigate pest damage, infrastructure needs. So it's really going to be very varied and broad regarding agriculture and climate change's impact on it in Maryland and how we adapt. Part of what's included is a recommendation regarding a statewide emergency notification system really to farmers. So.
Thanks, Nancy. I think, Diana, did I hear correctly? Are you asking about like the political climate as well? Or were you asking about climate change?
Political climate, I think that's going to have a big effect on how we move forward, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, as I said before. But I think we're going to have to stay on top of it to be able to help our state to move through it.
Anybody else? So the last thing I wanted to do, and I really want to make sure everyone has time to share, is just going around and providing updates about what's going on in your area. Nancy, were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Anyone else have thoughts that they want to share regarding their hopes for this collaborative? Okay. Well, so this Food Council collaborative within communication and coordination will not be meeting for a while because we are transitioning this committee over to the weekly legislative monitoring session. So that will be through April, and we hope that everyone in this call will continue to participate. I'm curious if people have a sense right now for when it would be most helpful to meet next. Probably after May or in May. Any thoughts right now about timing?
You want to do May?
May is good, says Lisa. Okay. And are Friday mornings good for everyone? That's what you indicated on the survey. Okay. Well, we will follow up with that. Okay. Let's go around and share some updates. Do people feel comfortable having their emails shared with other local food council members? Awesome. Then yes, I can go ahead and share the email list for this group. And that can be an opportunity to stay connected with one another in the meantime as well. And yes, Michelle, thank you for saying that. There's a Food Council collaborative listserv. I'll make a note to put that in my follow-up email to this meeting. Okay, Anne Arundel County. Diana, would you like to share what you have been up to?
We've had a couple of trainings on equity, which was really, really good. But the one thing that I was able to do with the Food Council is to get an extra 75,000 pounds of non-perishable donated to different pantries. It went directly to the pantries, and it was done by Anne Arundel County Realtor Association. So they played a game. Whoever brought in the most non-perishable won a belt. So that was really, really nice. But we are trying to continue to just break down barriers and work through some things that are being addressed here in Anne Arundel County.
Thank you, Diana. And I'm curious, how was the call with Dr. Harris for your council?
He did it in person, and it was very, very good. So that was a very good meeting. And of course, we had food from Sardis, so everybody was very happy.
That's great. Thank you, Diana. I don't think we have anyone from Baltimore City here with us today. Caroline County.
Am I the only Caroline County person? Okay. I can say whatever I want then. No, just kidding. We actually are going to meet again in January, but we are talking with ESRGIS about the mapping project for our county. Some cool things that we've done. So we started doing pop-up community dinners, right? Taking and setting up right in the neighborhoods. Kind of took, if anyone's familiar with Breadcoin, we actually will be the first rural area in the nation to do Breadcoin. And I'm just, if you look it up, it's a great way to give people food access with dignity. But they do these pop-up community dinners, and we did it this past fall, working with Chop 10 Community Health. We had a diabetes grant, so we did a diabetic-friendly dinner. We just went into the neighborhood, set up tables, linens, flowers. We served the neighborhood. They came out. They got free A1C testing, blood pressure testing. Ways to follow up. We had SNAP representative there. And then we had our curbside market there as well. So we gave $10 vouchers for them to go on, RX scripts to go on to, and we had recipes for fresh produce and things like that. We just hired in the school system a sustainability manager to work with the community for waste reduction, food access, so that we can try to limit the amount of waste that we have and that we can use that food to feed people. And that person's also working, took part of the carrot. So we will be looking at using that system as well for our committee. During the holidays, just working with each other, Aaron's Place did 1,500 family meals. We've had donations of food to distribute out to households, the highest need. And then we also, we're up to 930 backpacks going out into the schools. Last year when we ended, we were at 740. So we're finding the need has gotten greater. So our pantries, we're servicing, on average 400 families, are up to about 600 families now. So we are finding the need has gotten greater over the year. So anyway, just plugging along, we donated refrigerators, capsules, so that we can have safer access to food, so we can transport more safely our refrigerated foods. So I think that's, busy. It's all good.
Thank you. Mark, do you have a question for Beth?
I do, Beth. The backpacks, does that meet the demand, that number, or is there need for more?
No, that's apparently, I think we're meeting the demand, Mark, because the students can fill. Each school in Caroline County has a community person that's just working directly with the community. So they fill out applications, and we have those so that anybody can fill them out. And then when a child goes to homeless, we make sure meals are taken to wherever they are, depending if they can heat up and things like that. So it's still growing. And our next thing is to, if you look up, there's an organization called Cultivate, and they take food from schools, leftover food, and they make meal packs for them, for their highest need kids. That's the next thing we'll be looking at, is instead of just shelf stable that we send home, is to identify our highest need families and send home those frozen meals.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we do have another mobile unit coming out. It's getting retrofitted right now. So we'll have a second unit that can go out into our surrounding counties as well. Because we actually partnered with Dorchester this past summer with Meals Till Monday. And in a 7-week period, we did 108,000 summer meals, a breakfast and lunch in a 7-week period, and they did 12,000 meals there. So we'll look at doing more of that too for distribution.
Great, thank you. Lisa also asked a question, and Lisa, I know that you probably can't share about Frederick County, but if there's anything you want to add in the chat while we're moving through the list, please feel free. But Beth, go ahead.
Do you want me to answer, or do you want me just to touch base with her separately?
It's up to you.
So Lisa, real quick, so USDA reimbursement through the school system for a lot of that. Our backpack program, we actually have 2 local foundations that support that do fundraising initiatives to keep that going. And then the mobile, which I'm happy to share offline with this, is becoming self-sustaining, but it's been grant funding that got that started. We hustle money. That's what we do.
Thank you. And Kent County?
I think I'm the only person here from Kent County.
Are you also the only Shores person, Nancy?
I think so. So do you want me to just talk about Kent, Queen Anne's, and Cecil? All right. Yes. Kent County, we had a meeting last week. Primarily up until this point, it's been mainly the food pantries in the county. And we've been working with Washington College, who's going to be the lead for the Food Council, to expand that. So we've been working with someone at the county school system to actually looking at Beth's frozen food, not frozen food, but dinner preparation and potential providing dinner opportunities as well as training. So that's an area that we've been engaged in, and Washington College has acquired a new piece of property, and they're looking at an innovation center there that they may be able to provide. They're hoping to include some cold storage for local use, which would be great. For Cecil County, I've had meetings with the Economic Development Office and some other key stakeholders, and planning to have a meeting in January to coordinate those individuals. And then we've been working closely with Pam Allen, Beth, and others from throughout the Eastern Shore to organize an event on March 18th, which would bring everyone working in this space together on the shore, and would have a keynote speaker and then some breakout sessions regarding advocacy, regarding fundraising, how to structure a food council. So we're pretty excited about that. For the Hughes Center, can I just put in one plug for a program, which actually will be statewide? We're working closely with the Ag Law Education Initiative, and we have funding through a SARE grant, and it's to try to get more farmers in the state to sign up to accept SNAP benefits from customers. What we have found, really, the program started out as a train the trainer so that we can provide organizations with information about how best to help to assist their farmers. The USDA staff has been great. Sarah Seven from MDA has been wonderful. And what we've actually started to do is take the program out, and USDA is able to sign up farmers that very day. So it's been, and Sarah is working to sign them up that day. And we also have Market Link. So it's been a great program, and there will be, I'll send out a schedule. We're going to have meetings throughout the state in early 2025. So I'm really excited about that program.
Allie, did you have a question for Nancy?
It's not a question. It's just actually we have a a couple of projects that are focusing on the same thing, and a couple of our counties, local health departments are also putting together these USDA meetings with the help of UMD Extension. So it is
So,
something that, go ahead.
Allie, are you with, who are you with?
I'm with the Maryland Department of Health Center for Chronic Disease. So we have a couple of projects. We have a CSA project. Part of it, the requirement for the county is for them to work with UMD Extension just to get like TA. And this was something that they told us about. And we, because we do have a systems level, like a systems level food kind of push the last couple years, we have been talking with Sarah as well. And so it seems like there's a couple different groups that are really interested in this SNAP expansion work. And that's what our CSA project does, is provides SNAP eligible boxes from local farmers.
Great, thank you so much. And Lisa put in the chat that Frederick County Food Council is wrapping up the carrot assessment. They'll be starting to score all of the 101 indicators based on stakeholder input next week. And they plan to have a report ready in February. They also finished up a food pantry survey, an interview initiative, and have a report almost done. Okay. Montgomery County?
I'll add some things, and then if I forget anything, Jack will jump in because he has construction happening at his house right now. Poor Jack. So one thing that folks didn't mention that I'll bring up is that right now we're about ready to circulate a sign-on letter for other organizations that we partner with in Montgomery County to share budget priorities with the county executive to make sure that we are stating what the needs are, both on the food security side and the food, local food production side, and ensuring that some county-led programs that help to connect those dots are prioritized. And so that's something that, I'm happy to just share that with this group if they're interested in seeing how we put that together. But obviously, as a nonprofit, we have the ability to do that in ways that not every food council does. And then I'll also share that we are, what did I put? Hang on. I wrote this to Jack about what to mention. Oh, I wanted to mention that, first of all, as part of the Regional Food System Partnership Grant that's wrapping up, that, subawarded funds to the food councils across the state, we're still able to provide TA. So if you have questions about food council best practices, we can help figure out how to answer them. We might not have the answer, but feel free to reach out. Nancy reached out about speaker ideas. Frederick County reached out about structure and function and decision-making processes, or we're trying to help them get some resources about that. And then also I wanted to share that the Montgomery County Food Council is getting ready to wrap up a process where we're going to implement an equity impact assessment process within our food council, as well as a reimagined community advisory board. And I'm happy to just share those when they're complete in the next couple months with this group as well, just to share some resources or ideas that we're thinking about as we're trying to prioritize our time to areas that have the most impact on equity in our county. Thanks.
Thanks, Michelle. Oh, and Prince George's County?
Sounds good. Next time I'm gonna make you not do this alphabetical, so you're gonna switch it up. Just kidding. But hey everyone, yeah, pull up my sticky note of all our updates. Couple things as far as like our different working groups. We've definitely had a lot of success in 2024 with our food in jails working group that's been supporting local legislation as far as like our Prince George's County Jail to support better meals and what's else offered within the jail. And so we've actually been successful in getting the local council to support a task force that's going to go and actually make do that research and decide how those improvements can be made in partnership with the county jail leadership. Another group or focus area is ultimately like school nutrition within Prince George's County Public Schools. We do have a new food service director that's started a couple months ago, and so getting acclimated. But ultimately, we have been working in partnership with No Kid Hungry to do our own report, where we've been interviewing and doing focus groups with students, parents, other like administration, and so that's coming out this month as well before the end of the year, where we've made a lot of recommendations, but one of them really being the opportunity for us to do more cross-sector partnerships, with the actual school nutrition service department. And so one way that the Food Equity Council has been able to support that is, if you guys have heard of an organization called Brighter Bites, they pop up and do monthly markets at schools. And so we have been awarded a grant, yay, where we're actually going to be piloting in 6 schools in Prince George's County, where, like I said, monthly markets. And that's just, again, a way that we can also work in collaboration with the schools and the school nutrition service department. As far as our urban farmers, they've been really active in trying to, and will be active in trying to get some clear, I will say, aligning and expanding the definition of urban farms as far as like our local legislation, the state legislation, making sure that they match so that our urban farmers can actually take advantage of those property tax credits. So that's something that working group is working on and going into the new year. One more last kind of focus area is food waste and recovery and sustainability within our county. We have a couple different projects, both doing smart commodities with the USDA and Department of Energy, as well as a project with the University of Maryland, and using an actual app to, essentially bring technology into how we can support this recovery system within the county. So that's really exciting, and I'm excited to hire a coordinator to help with that in the new year. So if you guys have any recommendations, I'll definitely, all these updates will be coming out in our listserv as well. Quick last things I'll say, we're excited to start the new year with our first in-person meeting after I don't even know how long, but it'll be my first person in meeting as the director. So I'm really excited. That's January 20, I don't know, but I could share if you were interested a little bit later. And yeah, last point I was going to say, Annika, to your point about like what else I would be interested in, at least within the local level in Prince George's County. One, we're super excited because Angela also Brooks is from Prince George's County and now our senator. But that means we also have a lot of local turnover that's happening. So I definitely am really looking forward to educating new local leaders as far as like what our actual priorities are, how they can support, answer their questions as it relates to food, questions that they have about the food system or nutrition, right? Like I'm a dietitian, so I've also been getting a lot of questions just from local leaders about, actual nutrition. So that's been really cool. And so I think in this group, I'm definitely learning and practicing how we can share like those actual talking points out to our local leaders who may not be those food system experts like we are. But obviously, it's a part of our job to educate them. So yeah, that's one thing I'd love to learn and learn from in this group, how we could all, as we're all doing that. So that's me. And yeah, sorry for taking all the time.
No, thank you so much, Dr. Range. And Teresa, I'm sorry to put you in the last couple minute crunch. We'll start our next meeting this way.
Well, no problem at all. We have had our food. I'm trying to think like from the last time we met, but we had the State Food System Resiliency Council come for a food tour. Involved going to Hagerstown to look at the Western branch of the Maryland Food Bank. And then we drove to Frostburg, Maryland, and had people we looked at Wholesome Harvest, our only member-owned co-op grocery store in our county. And we also had people from Garrett County come and share during our lunch, and it was a farmer's market day. We had them share about the Appalachian Farm and Food Alliance and the Garrett Growers, which is a cooperative of farmers, and Honeymoon Farm share about their programs. And then we went on to Frostburg State University and experienced the teaching kitchen and their rocket composter, where they compost food from the university cafeteria. And then in last month, we had a food conference. So we learned about the UPMC Western Maryland Hospital's food pharmacy program that they have for people with diabetes. Emily spoke on the restaurant meals program, and Clint Rawlings from America's Hauling for Hope spoke about their program that delivers food to people's homes in Washington County. And in October, they just partnered with Maryland Physicians Care and are delivering food to the neediest members that they've identified of Maryland Physicians Care in Allegheny County. And in the new year, they will deliver to sites, not to homes, but to specific pickup sites in Garrett County. And then we also learned about Frostburg State University, which is through Chartwell's, their food service, and buying local food and how they are able to do that. We learned about from a restaurateur about buying local food and how he makes that work. And Heather Halsey from the Maryland Market Money campaign shared about that. And upcoming, we have submitted a grant with Maryland Physicians Care with Michelle Walker. Thank you, Michelle, not Maryland Physicians Care. I'm sorry. It was through Care First. And Michelle partnered because we just started the Appalachian Farm and Food Alliance as our fiscal sponsor and nonprofit, but we weren't able yet to submit this grant. Michelle kindly stepped in and with County United Way to submit this grant to provide food boxes as well as community resources at various locations. It's a program that Mountain Laurel Medical Center had in our area called Nourishing Neighbors. And we submitted a grant to Care First to continue that program. And we have not heard back yet. I think that's right, Michelle, right? We haven't heard back yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. But so we're really excited to partner with County United Way, and so glad that you're here, Michelle. So thank you all. That's it.
Thank you so much, Teresa. I'm sorry we went over a couple minutes. That's it for this meeting. I look forward to staying connected with you all and wishing you a wonderful weekend.
Thank you all so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.